All rise. The case of Lorenzo.Rose versus Robinsincity. This court is now in session.
Thank you. Lorenzo.Rose, you're here suing Robinsincity. Tell me why.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm suing him today because I left my gun in his care and he never gave it back. So I want to get paid for it.
Robinsincity, did he leave his firearm in your care?
Yes.
Were you supposed to return it?
Yes.
Did you return it?
I can't give it back. I don't have it anymore.
You don't have it anymore?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I don't care if he has it or not. I don't want it back. I want my money for it.
You wouldn't want it back even if he had it?
No. Apparently this gun has been like in state custody. It was used as evidence in a trial. It's been through like ballistic testing, like all of the whole nine because of his actions.
His actions?
Yes. Basically, he caught a body with my gun.
Did you shoot someone
Yes.
with his gun?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did the individual pass away as a result?
Yes.
Okay. I do regret such an unfortunate ending. Let's go back to the beginning.
He's known as like Peace Man. Everybody knows him in our neighborhood. But it's ironic because it's like spelled two different ways.
Okay.
So Piece, he's known to like break guns down. He can build them up, upgrade them, like whatever you need done, he can do it.
Okay.
But then also he's like an advocate in the community for gun violence, like against gun violence. So he's known as Peace, Peace Man.
Okay. So, Robinsincity, are you known around the neighborhood as Peace Man?
Yes.
Are you good with firearms?
I am.
Okay. Do you own any firearms yourself?
No, I don't own any guns, and I don't keep any guns at my house unless it's related to a job. See,
Okay.
before I worked in the shop, I worked from home, and people would always bring me their firearms so they could be serviced.
Okay.
Sometimes I do a little work on the side, so I still have parts and pieces at my homes, but I don't keep any of the guns for myself.
All right. Go ahead and continue.
So, Your Honor, I just bought a brand new AK-47. I was super excited about it. So I hit him up on social media, like, hey, could you put a sight on there for me? He told me, come through his shop. We talked for like an hour or so about the fight and then, you know, the gun. And he basically told me that he would order it for me.
So, Lorenzo.Rose, he contacted you on social media about an upgrade to the AK?
Yes, it was Saturday, right before the fight.
Right before the fight?
Yes, Your Honor. See, there was a big fight happening that Saturday at 147. Two champions, years in the making, an ending that I couldn't see coming myself.
Okay.
Everybody had action on the fight, and I remember talking to Mr. Rose about it that Saturday.
Did you agree to perform the upgrade?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you actually place an order for a piece for him?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and continue.
He told me to bring the gun to his house because he said that the piece that I wanted, it was on back order. So I took it to his house and I didn't think anything of it. But I was in the barbershop getting my hair cut and then somebody was like, oh, you know, people talk in the barbershop. So somebody was like, did you hear what happened to Peace Man? And I'm like, no, what happened to Peace Man? And they said that he was arrested because someone kicked in his door and he shot him with an AK-47. So instantly, I'm like, I just gave this man an AK-47. But I couldn't even like call him, ask him anything to see if it was my gun that he used. But obviously it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Peace Man, Robinsincity, do you mind if I call you Peace Man?
Either one is fine, Your Honor.
Okay. Were you arrested?
I was.
Why were you arrested?
You see, this man had kicked in my door, and the man who kicked in my door was known as a dealer. And because he's a dealer, known as a dealer, the police assumed that it had to have something to do with drugs. So they arrested me and charged me with felony murder. The judge didn't give me bond, so I ended up sitting in jail the whole time until trial. And the police took the guns as evidence, and I didn't see it until it was used in trial against me. I was acquitted because I got off for self-defense. And when they processed me out of the jail, they gave me all my property back along with this evidence slip. In the evidence slip, there were items, those known as property, which are my property, they gave that right back to me because it was on site at the jail. The other evidence, like the gun over here, it was listed as evidence, so apparently I had to go to the police headquarters to retrieve it. And when I did go to retrieve it, to return it to Mr. Rose, the police told me that they had destroyed it after the trial.
Okay, you know what? Because the underlying prosecution has so much to do with the case being presented here today, this court's going to be in recess for 30 minutes to allow me an opportunity to review that closed case file.
Welcome to Social Media Tort Court, where posts can be unpredictable, messages can be misleading, and account holders are held accountable. Every tort claim involves social media in Social Media Tort Court.
All right, now that we're back on the record, Lorenzo.Rose, Robinsincity, a big portion of today's case presentation related back to, unfortunately, Robinsincity's prosecution for a felony murder of which he was ultimately acquitted. I've had an opportunity to evaluate that closed case file in conjunction with the testimony presented here today, okay? And that is what's going to inform the court's position as to the verdict. Before we get there, let me ask you, should I tell him or should you?
Yeah, excuse me, Your Honor?
All right, I'll tell him. Okay, so Lorenzo.Rose, you may not know this because when was the last time you saw your firearm?
It was a Monday.
Okay, so you don't even know if he actually performed the upgrade.
I have no idea.
All right, well, I have an idea. The ballistics report, okay, like you said, the court, the firearm has been through ballistics testing by the Bureau of Investigation. It was in fact used as state's evidence. It has a body on it, and that's why you don't want it back. A ballistics report confirmed that Peaceman did ultimately perform an upgrade on your firearm. It just was not the upgrade which you sought. The upgrade that he did, you were looking for a sight upgrade, right? You were looking for a scope. Peaceman performed a trigger group upgrade. Now, I had to do some checking because I'm not the most well-versed with the firearms, but turns out trigger group upgrades are actually really common upgrades. Are you familiar?
I'm not.
Okay, well, let me explain to you just very briefly. Trigger group upgrades can allow for you to have a lighter pull weight on an AK-47. You know, they're larger guns. They take a bit more effort, but when you do that trigger group upgrade, you get a lighter pull, right? So you're able to get shots off faster, right? And it also allows for you to have a cleaner break, which results in more consistent shots, more accurate shots, faster follow-up shots. You get where this is going, kind of turning the AK-47 into a more efficient defensive weapon, right? So it's almost, why do you think he thought you would need a more defensive AK-47?
I have no idea. I asked him only for a sight, a scope.
Yeah, because it wasn't for you. It wasn't for you. So see, turns out, I wondered myself, why would Peaceman perform this particular upgrade? And I also thought, what a coincidence, right? That the same day that he made a modification to your firearm, which made your firearm a more efficient defensive weapon, what a coincidence that he would use it that very day to defend himself when someone kicked in his door, right? Who kicked in your door, Peaceman?
Like I said earlier, Your Honor, it was the dealer who kicked in my door.
It was the dealer. So I looked into the decedent, and it's the dealer, it's only half the tale, okay? The decedent was actually a well-known enforcer for an illegal gambling organization operating in your neighborhood. So I wondered, why would an enforcer for a gambling ring kick in Peaceman's door? And then I recalled the fight. Peaceman, I understood you to say that everybody had action on that fight, right?
Right.
But you meant that you had action on that fight, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you said it was just two champions, years in the making, an ending you didn't see coming, right?
Right.
You know what that means, Mr. Rose? It means that he bet on the loser. And days later, when his debt became due, an enforcer kicked in his door. So it's almost like Peaceman had a scheme the whole time. But that leaves one question unanswered. How would Peaceman know that he would have your firearm? But like you said, you were excited. You hit him on social media. Can I come through the shop right now? I just want I just want this quick upgrade. And what did he tell you at first? He ordered that piece and there was no problem, right? But then what happened?
He said it was on back order.
That's right. So we looked into the piece. I called down to the shop. The piece was never on back order. He canceled your order. He canceled your order so the piece wouldn't come and he would be able to reach out to you and provide you an alternative means for getting that scope, because he knew that you were excited as well. He knew that you wouldn't want to wait in order to get that piece. And everybody knows he's the piece man. Everybody knows that he has peace in his house. But you know what else everybody else knows? Everybody else also knows that you don't have guns. So that man who kicked in his door wasn't expecting to get hit with that AK-47. But Peace Man was expecting him to come, and Peace Man was ready. Now, unfortunately, ultimately, your firearm was destroyed, right? And that was because the police did it. So on that theory, I'm unable to allow recovery. But because you deceived him into turning over possession of his firearm to you, and because you acted in reliance and actually did, and you lost your firearm as a result, I will authorize recovery. So ordered.
Would you like to appear on Social Media Tort Court? DM us today.